I'm Jessica, and this is Check Your Connections. Let me ask you something. Have you ever done something impulsive that you regret later? If you have, you're not alone. The truth is that everyone has moments they regret, moments that they would love to go back and change if they could. Controlling our impulses, though, is actually one of humanity's greatest strengths. Many of our connections or our relationships with others depend on it. Studies has actually found two main qualities that stand out in happy and successful people: intelligence and self-control. While intelligence is nice to have, it's self-control that has the biggest impact on life, whether you become successful or not. Look at it this way. Imagine letting our impulsives run wild day after day with no filters. Would others feel safe around you? Would they trust their children around you? Would they trust their belongings around you? Even more to the point, would they risk becoming emotionally connected to you if you might hurt them or be taken away?
Hello everyone, I'm PJ Sakabo and I'm here with Michelle. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Michelle and I'm the manager at Battleford's Humane Society. I'm also the lead trainer for all things canine training.
What would be your top 3 choices for someone to go about teaching their dog self-control?
I would tell them to give their dog structure, teach their dog boundaries, and don't let them get away with anything. Be tough, be firm.
Why would you think that?
I tell people all the time to think of dogs like kids. So if you have a 2-year-old who keeps grabbing something off the coffee table, right? If you keep telling that 2-year-old, no, you can't have that, you can't have that, you can't have that, you can't have that, eventually they learn that they can't have that, right? So then they learn that, oh, I can't always do what I want. So there's your structure. So again, boundaries. Everybody needs their personal space and their personal bubble. Dogs are the same way. You have to teach them that they can't come into your space or your bubble. There has to be boundaries. This is what you're allowed to do. This is what you're not allowed to do. And the third thing is to be firm and be tough, because if you let a dog walk all over you, he's going to eventually take control. If you don't tell him what you want from him, he's not going to understand, and he's just going to keep doing what he's doing, and it's going to get worse.
Do you think that there is similarities with people and dogs if they had bad self-control?
Absolutely, in every way. When dogs don't have self-control, they get frustrated, and when they get frustrated, that's when you start seeing fear biting or displaced behaviors where they want so badly to get a point across to you or show you something and they can't. And they'll do something else, barking, growling, peeing in the house, jumping on you. And it's the same thing with people. When people don't have self-control, they get frustrated. And when they get frustrated, then you start seeing all kinds of behaviors come out. So they yell, they hit things, they get angry, they run away from things, they close up, they shut down, they don't talk. And all those same things happen with animals.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and today we are with Corporal Payne and Soap, his canine unit. How do you go about the beginning of your relationship with your canine partner?
So the very first thing that we do, whether it's getting a new police puppy that we're going to be partnered with or a new police dog, it's establishing a bond, and that's establishing trust and a relationship with them, learning his personality. So we'll take him, and we'll usually within a few hours of getting partnered up, we'll go on our nice long nature walk in the woods together, just me and him, for 3 or 4 hours, and just spend time together and learn about each other.
What are some pros and cons about having a canine partner?
Well, the pros are I have the best partner in the world. I know for a fact he saved lives in this community, and he's helped keep some really bad people from being on the street and makes this community a lot safer. And that's a really rewarding part of my job. As far as the cons, it's not always easy work, but when you put in the hard work, it's all worth it because it's so rewarding.
Is learning self-control important in developing your trust relationship?
Patience is probably the number one trait that a dog handler should have. I'm not Dr. Doolittle, you know, as much as I wish I was sometimes. He can't understand sometimes what I'm trying to communicate to him. So, you know, I have to have the patience to understand that if he doesn't do what I want sometimes it takes numerous tries before we'll get something right. And other times, you know, German Shepherds are pretty smart, so other times he'll pick it up right away. Other times he'll pick it up right away. But it's important that he can't be afraid to make a mistake, because if he is afraid to make a mistake or screw it up, he's going to be stressed, just like any person is when they're worried about making mistakes. They're stressed, they're anxious, and they can't perform because they screw up out of nervousness. So I want a positive environment, and I use positive rewards to get him to do what I want. Believe me, I'm not a master dog trainer. I got experience at doing it, but I made lots of mistakes with my dog. I've made mistakes with him, and I'll make mistakes with my next dog. But there's one thing I can tell you, it's how do I get him to understand what I want him to do? Because it's, you know, if I could speak to him, I would, but he doesn't understand. And there's times he'll get frustrated with me because he's like, tell me what you want better, you know, like, doesn't mean they want to please you. It means everything to them, so. But patience, that's the one thing, patience, so key.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do you think technology today has changed the quality of our interactions with each other?
Some people, I've noticed, seem to need to have their phone with them all the time.
People don't interact as much with each other when they're with their friends or family. A lot of times you'll see families sitting on their phone and their child is there being ignored or on another device themselves.
What's your biggest frustration with the way that people communicate today?
I don't know if it's a frustration, but it's certainly a reality that because we're so used to having instantaneous access to things, if there's any delay, that can start to cause people to get anxious or to be concerned or to express frustration quite quickly.
Do you think our society in general is becoming more impatient?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and I've noticed it even in myself, because when I go to turn on some things or I want to bring up a site, when I go online, I expect it to be like now. Yeah.
Our expectation has really risen to match really the technology that we have, but I think it's important to recognize that there's times when it takes a little bit longer.
Instant gratification is kind of becoming a thing. We tend to want things right now, but we don't necessarily need things right now. We just need to reconnect with one of our greatest strengths, the ability to play the long game in hopes for greater rewards. Let's challenge ourselves with some breaks from our screens. Be silent, allow yourself to get bored. It's only then that real self-control, patience, and creativity can grow.
Jadace, have you ever had the urge to like unplug from your electronic screen thingies?
Why, yes, Jessica. I have. In fact, every summer I like to do a detox where I do unplug from all my screens.
It's probably really good.
Well, it is. In fact, I remember around the 7th grade when I did one of my detoxes during the summer, I would go out for walks and I kept passing this house and there was this girl outside. And for the first 5 times I walked past, we'd always exchange hellos. And then I went on another time and I went up to her and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Jadace, what's your name?" And we became really good friends because I wasn't sitting in my room watching Netflix or playing on my phone or Snapchat. And we're still friends today, even though I moved, we still keep in contact.
There might be a chance though I probably could do that this summer because I might actually get a summer job for once instead of babysitting.
Well, that's a good thing too, getting a summer job, getting off your devices, getting out there.
Because when you're working, you don't need to be on your device or anything.
Well, yeah, like getting out and getting away, it's just really helpful, you know, it like refreshes your mind, you start to like figure out the things you love and get to do the things you love again. It's just really refreshing. Next this summer, why don't you try an internet detox?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
We can do it together.
Yay!
Would you say you have good self-control?
Yeah, I usually do. Depends on the situation.
Would you say you are sometimes impulsive or maybe have trouble resisting temptation?
Probably the second one. Depends on what it is.
Yeah. What is it that depends on it?
Like snacks. Want a snack or not a snack?
Do you have an example of when self-control has helped you?
Not punching someone?
What kind of self-control tricks do you have to avoid acting impulsively or giving into your temptations?
Consider any of the consequences.
Yeah, usually I don't think of what I usually think a little bit of what I'm going to do before it happens.
And does that always work?
Sometimes. If the consequences are bad, maybe.
And what do you do if your tricks don't work?
Exit the situation.
And how do you encourage yourself to try again to have good self-control?
Like, don't do that. And I don't do that.
And do you think self-control has helped you?
Yeah. I have all my fingers and my legs aren't broken.
That is a good example. And if you guys fail or give into a temptation, how do you encourage yourself to try again?
If I fail foundations 20.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Just pick yourself up and keep going.
And cut.
Sure, during the pandemic, we've had to rely on technology a lot. But when we come out of this, and we'll want to realize that we've learned something. We learned a little about what's really important. When we come out of this and we've learned, we'll want to realize that we've... Dang it! Okay, stop. Sure, during the pandemic...
Nope, start over. Bum dum dum.
Sure, during the
Swedish chef. Sure, dear. Work.